Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into the rise of Nebius AI, a company that's making waves in the tech world. It's a company that's somehow both a startup and publicly traded.
It is a unique situation, yeah, almost unheard of in tech. And what makes it even more interesting is how Nebius AI emerged from the ashes of Yandex, often called the Google of Russia.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We all remember the fallout from the war in Ukraine. Sanctions, NASDAQ, delisting drama. Yandex got caught right in the middle. They had to restructure, spin off their Russian assets, and from this turmoil, Nebius AI was born.
It is fascinating how they not only survived, but thrived through all that rebranded, established a new data center in Finland. And with this laser focus on AI infrastructure, they re-emerged on the global stage as Nebius AI.
Almost like a phoenix rising. And leading this charge is Arkady Veloz, the co-founder of Yandex.
Volozh's journey kind of mirrors the company's. He was initially on a European sanctions list, but later removed after publicly condemning Russia's actions. And now he's at the helm of this publicly traded startup, navigating a complex geopolitical landscape while aiming to become a major player in AI.
It's a wild story. So what exactly is Nebius AI doing that's causing so much buzz? What's their secret sauce?
They're focusing on what's becoming the lifeblood of the AI industry, compute power. They're essentially selling GPUs as a service, providing a full-stack cloud computing platform specifically designed for machine learning.
So they're basically saying, hey, AI companies, you need massive processing power to train those fancy large language models. We got you covered.
Precisely. They're tapping into a critical need. The hunger for compute power in the AI world is only going to grow. And by staying public through all the upheaval, they've ensured access to the significant capital required in this very capital-intensive industry.
I see why they made that decision, but it was a gamble. They were betting on the market's faith in their vision.
Oh, absolutely. And Veloz himself acknowledged this uncertainty, saying, "We couldn't predict what would happen. It's still volatile, but it's stabilizing. And the good thing is, it has stabilized above the cost of the assets, which means that the market believes we will be able to build a business here."
So they've managed to convince the market that they're more than just a spinoff. They have a real shot at becoming a major player.
Impressive feat, especially given their challenging origins. But let's dig a little deeper into their business model. Nebius AI isn't just about GPUs in the cloud. They've actually got this diverse portfolio of businesses under the Nebius Group umbrella.
Oh, intrigued.
No.
Tell me more about this Nebius group. It sounds like they're aiming to be more than just an infrastructure provider.
They are indeed. They've got three main business units. First, there's the core Nebius AI infrastructure business that's generating about 2/3 of the revenue right now. Then there's Avride, an autonomous vehicle company born from Yandex's self-driving unit. And finally, there's Toloka, a data labeling and quality control platform specifically designed for those large language models we were discussing earlier.
Wow, they're covering a lot of ground. And it all ties together quite neatly, doesn't it?
There's a clear synergy between these different businesses. But let's break them down one by one to understand how they contribute to Nebius AI's overall vision. Let's start with Avride, the self-driving car company. This one's got a particularly intriguing backstory.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's so special about Avridi?
Well, it turns out Yandex was very close to launching fully autonomous cars in Moscow before the war. Imagine that self-driving cars navigating the streets of Moscow. They were set to beat Waymo to the punch, according to Veloz.
That's a bold statement. But with the war disrupting everything, what happened to those self-driving ambitions?
Avrida took those ambitions and ran with them. Their plans for Moscow were put on hold, but they've been making waves elsewhere. They recently partnered with Uber to deploy food delivery robots in Austin, Texas. And the plan is to eventually integrate their self-driving cars into the Uber platform as well.
So they're starting with a more targeted approach, focusing on delivery robots first, and then gradually moving towards robotaxis. It's a smart way to test the waters and gather real-world data.
Exactly. But developing self-driving technology is incredibly expensive. It's one of the most capital-intensive fields out there. Nebius AI is currently financing Avride, but they acknowledge that they'll need to find additional partners to really scale up their ambitions.
That makes sense. Going it alone in the world of autonomous vehicles is tough. They'll need to secure those deep pockets to compete with the big players, like Waymo and Cruise.
Now let's shift our focus to Toloka, their data labeling platform. This might seem less flashy than self-driving cars, but it's a crucial piece of the AI puzzle. Remember how we talked about the insatiable need for data in the AI world? Well, Toloka is right in the thick of it.
The unsung heroes. The data wranglers who make sure all that AI magic actually works.
Precisely. Toloka specializes in data labeling and quality control. ensuring that the data fed into those large language models is accurate and reliable. Think of it like this. Toloka is ensuring that the AI's food is properly prepared and nutritious so it can grow strong and healthy.
That's a great analogy. But isn't data labeling, kind of a boring behind-the-scenes task?
It might seem that way, but it's a multi-billion-dollar market.
Yeah.
Companies like Scale AI, which operate in a similar space, are valued at billions. So Toloka is tapping into a significant need in the AI ecosystem, and there's even potential for them to be spun out as an independent company, similar to what happened with ClickHouse, an open-source database management system that originated from Yandex.
So Nebius AI is creating this breeding ground for successful AI companies,
Mhm.
nurturing them and then potentially letting them fly solo when they're ready.
It's a fascinating strategy, and it speaks to their willingness to embrace change and adapt to the dynamic nature of the AI industry.
It sounds like they've got a lot going on. But with all these different businesses under their umbrella, what does their overall growth trajectory look like? Have they managed to translate this vision into actual financial success?
That's a great question, and it's something we'll delve into deeper in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned to find out how Nebius AI is performing, how they're planning to expand their global reach, and what challenges and opportunities lie ahead for this fascinating company.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We just left off talking about all these different businesses under the Nebius Group umbrella. But how do they all fit together? What's their business model like?
It's multifaceted. It's actually one of the things that makes them so interesting, like a three-legged stool with each leg representing a key revenue stream.
Okay, I like that analogy. Let's break down those legs. What are the three main components of their business model?
The first and currently the largest leg is their core AI cloud infrastructure business. This is where they're providing those GPUs as a service and building that full-stack cloud computing platform tailored specifically for AI. Think of this as their bread and butter, at least for now.
So the AI cloud is their foundation. What about the other two legs?
The second leg is Avride, their self-driving vehicle company. Remember how we discussed Yandex's near breakthrough with those autonomous cars in Moscow? Well, Avride inherited that technology and is now pushing forward with its own ambitious plans.
Right, they've got those food delivery robots rolling out with Uber, and they're aiming to bring their self-driving cars to the Uber platform too. It's exciting, but also incredibly capital intensive.
Exactly. And that's why Nebius AI is treating Avride as a separate business unit. They're providing funding for now, but acknowledge that Avride will likely need to find external partners down the line to fully realize its potential.
That makes sense. It's too big a bet to go it alone in the autonomous vehicle world. So what about that third leg of the stool?
That would be Toloka, their data labeling and quality control platform. This one might seem less glamorous than self-driving cars, but it's absolutely essential in the world of AI.
Ah, the data. The fuel that powers all those AI algorithms. We talked earlier about how the need for high-quality data is exploding, especially with those large language models everyone's buzzing about.
Precisely. And Toloka is right in the sweet spot of that trend. They're ensuring that the data used to train these AI models is accurate and reliable, which ultimately impacts the performance and reliability of the AI itself.
So Toloka is like the quality control expert, making sure that the AI isn't learning from bad data. It's critical,
Yeah,
even if it happens behind the scenes.
exactly. And to give you a sense of the market size here, companies like Scale AI, which operate in a similar space, have reached multi-billion-dollar valuations. So Toloka is tapping into a very lucrative and rapidly growing market.
It's fascinating how Nebius AI has built this interconnected ecosystem of businesses, each supporting and feeding into the others. It's more than just an infrastructure company. It's a full-fledged AI powerhouse.
It is. And there's even speculation that both Toloka and Avride could eventually be spun out as independent companies, just as Yandex did previously with ClickHouse.
That's an interesting strategy. Nurture these businesses under the Nebius Group umbrella, and then potentially release them into the world when they're ready to soar on their own.
Exactly. It allows Nebius AI to focus on its core strengths while fostering innovation and creating value through these spin-offs.
Okay, so we've got the three main legs of the stool: AI cloud infrastructure, self-driving vehicles with Avride, and data labeling with Toloka. But are we missing anything? I feel like there was something else in the mix.
You're right. There is one more piece of the puzzle, though. It's a bit further out from the core Triple 10. It's their online coding bootcamp platform.
Oh,
And
really?
while it might seem like an outlier, it actually ties in quite cleverly with their overall vision.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about that.
Yeah.
But how does a coding bootcamp fit into this picture of AI infrastructure and self-driving cars? It seems like a bit of a jump.
It might seem that way at first glance, but think about it. What's one of the biggest challenges facing the AI industry right now?
talent, right?
Yeah.
Finding enough skilled engineers and developers to build all these amazing AI applications everyone's dreaming up.
Exactly. And that's where Triple 10 comes in. By training a new generation of AI developers, they're creating a pipeline of talent that can fuel the growth of the entire AI ecosystem, including, of course, Nebius AI itself.
Ah, I see. It's a long-term play, investing in the future workforce that will drive the adoption of AI. And who knows, maybe some of those Triple 10 graduates will end up working for Nebius AI or one of their spin-offs.
It's all about building that virtuous cycle, nurturing talent, and fostering innovation. And speaking of growth, let's talk about Nebius AI's impressive financial performance in late 2024.
Yes, they've been making headlines with their rapid revenue growth and reduced losses. What's their secret sauce? What are they doing that's setting them apart in such a competitive market?
Well, for one, they've been investing heavily in expanding their infrastructure. They're pouring money into their European data centers, aiming to triple their capacity in Finland. And they're not neglecting the US market either. They have a brand new GPU cluster coming online in Kansas City in early 2025. And they're establishing customer hubs in San Francisco and Dallas to be closer to their US clients.
That's a bold expansion strategy,
Yeah.
especially considering they're going head-to-head with those cloud giants we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, Shirai. Those are some formidable opponents.
They are indeed. But Nebius AI is betting on its specialization in AI, its unique ecosystem of businesses, and its agility to carve out a significant chunk of the market.
It's a classic underdog story.
Oh.
But they seem to have the right ingredients for success: a strong vision, a talented team, and the financial resources to back it all up. But as we all know, the tech world is constantly evolving. What are some of the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead for EBS AI?
That's a great question. And it leads us perfectly into the final part of our deep dive. We'll explore the competitive landscape in more detail, analyze the risks and rewards of their expansion strategy, and ponder the big question: can Nebius AI truly become a global leader in the AI infrastructure race? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking this really intriguing story of Nebius AI and how they're aiming to be a major player in the world of AI infrastructure.
It's a fascinating case study, really. It highlights how quickly the tech landscape can shift and how new players can emerge even from the most unexpected circumstances.
We were just talking about how Nebius AI is facing some stiff competition,
Yeah.
especially from those cloud giants like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. How can they possibly compete with those behemoths?
It's a David versus Goliath situation for sure. But Nebius AI has a few tricks up its sleeve. They got that laser focus on AI. Their entire infrastructure, from the hardware to the software, is optimized for AI workloads. This gives them an edge that those general-purpose cloud providers might lack.
So they're like the specialist boutique for AI workloads, while the cloud giants are more like the big department stores, trying to be everything to everyone.
Exactly. And that specialization can be a powerful differentiator. Especially for companies that are really pushing the boundaries of AI, they need a platform that's built from the ground up with their needs in mind.
So Nebius AI is betting on being the best in class for AI workloads. But is that enough to win in this market? What else do they need to do to succeed?
Well, one thing they've been doing really well is expanding their global reach. They're building data centers in Europe and the US, getting closer to their customers and reducing latency.
And they're not just focusing on infrastructure. They've got that whole ecosystem of businesses, of Rede Toloka, Triple 10. It all adds up to a pretty compelling value proposition.
It does. It shows that they're thinking long term, building a sustainable business that can adapt to the ever-changing demands of the AI world.
But let's be realistic. The tech world is brutal. Competition is fierce.
Hmm.
What are some of the challenges that Nebius AI might face as they continue to grow?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for any company in the AI space right now is navigating the regulatory landscape. Governments around the world are still trying to figure out how to regulate AI. And those regulations could have a significant impact on how Nebius AI operates.
That's a great point. AI is such a powerful technology. It's important to ensure that it's used ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. And Nebius AI will need to be proactive in engaging with regulators and demonstrating that they're committed to building AI solutions that benefit society.
It's a complex challenge, but it's one that every company in the AI space will need to address.
Absolutely. And on top of that, there are always the usual business challenges: managing growth, maintaining a strong company culture, attracting and retaining top talent. These are all things that Nebius AI will need to navigate effectively to achieve its long-term goals.
It sounds like they've got their work cut out for them, but they already come so far. It'll be fascinating to see how they evolve and what impact they ultimately have on the world of AI.
I agree. It's an exciting time to be following this company. They've got a lot of potential, And I think we're only just beginning to see what they're capable of.
Well, that's a wrap for our deep dive into the world of Nebius AI, a publicly traded startup with a unique story and a bold vision for the future of AI infrastructure.
I hope you, the listener, found this journey as insightful as we did. Thanks for tuning in to the deep dive.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the fascinating world of technology and innovation. Until then, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. We appreciate your support.